last week, ladies, we would have started to look at the long-term causes of the First World War. Long-term. That's what we have been looking at. And so last week we would have looked at two. We would have looked at imperial rivalry, and the next one we would have looked at would be, what was it?
Rivalry over trade.
Trade.
Rivalry over trade. Only trade alone they had rivalry over?
Market.
Trade and market. Very good. Excellent. So we had rivalry over trade, rivalry over market. So we put that as 1 point, rivalry over trade and market, and the first one, imperial rivalry. So we know that imperial territories had conflict. So Dejeuner, give me some example of some imperial territories.
Repeat.
Somebody repeat for me, please.
He wants some examples of imperial territories.
Sir, is Puerto Rico one? Sir, you have to answer me Puerto Rico
Collins,
one.
Collins. Daniel,
Yes, sir.
is Puerto Rican imperial territory?
No, sir.
Could you give me some examples of imperial territory, please?
That would be like Germany, UK, Italy, France.
Very good. Which other territory gave a lot of problems?
Austria-Hungary and
Very
Russia.
good. Russia, excellent, excellent. Very good, Collins. Dejeuner. Dejeuner?
Yes, sir.
Give me some examples of imperial territories.
Sir, if I tell you the honest truth, I don't know them from off of the top of my brain.
Did you,
So
but 1 second, Dejeuner, did you listen to what Collins said? You heard what
yes, I
Collins
heard
said?
she said Germany.
Okay, could you repeat what she said?
And I never hear everything.
Williams, would you want to help her for me, please?
She said Russia, she said UK, she said Italy. Yeah, that's I remember.
All right. So McCoy, so now we would have established imperial territories. So imperial territories are countries in Europe. So all the countries in Europe that had colonies or had some form of imperial thrust, places like Russia, Germany, the UK, France, these are Italy, these are examples of imperial territory. So now to you, McCoy. Could you give us some examples of rival? All right, I want to ask you the question, McCoy. Why were there rivalry over trade and market?
There was rivalry over trade and market because all the imperial territories were growing in the different industries. So they would all need to get natural resources and a market to sell their goods. So they would all be competing against each other to try and continue advancing.
Very good, very good. Eccleston, could you give me some example, one example of rivalry that was going on? Where is?
Okay, one example of rivalry that was going on would be the Russo, sure how you say Russo-Japanese war over Manchuria.
Yes.
So Manchuria, they had a lot of natural resources and they were right between Japan. No, it was China. Japan is on the other side. So it's between China and Russia, and
Mhm.
Japan was over the other side. So Japan and Russia was fighting over Manchuria as they wanted all the natural resources Manchuria could offer. And I think Russia won that war.
Very good, very good. Excellent. Shanae, one more example of rivalry that was going on over trade.
Germany and
Germany and?
Russia.
Germany and Russia, what Germany and Russia fought over?
England and one country, and they were fighting over the clothing industry.
Clothing industry, England and?
Africa.
I'm not following what you're saying.
Sir, I don't remember which country, but I know England was fighting over the cotton industry with clothing.
All right, Savannah Ray?
Yes, sir. Could you repeat the question? Because I'm having
Give me an example of rivalry over trade.
wait, 1 second, sir.
Louis?
Yes, sir.
One example.
So the scramble for Africa, all the European nations wanted to dominate Africa because of the valuable resources that were in Africa.
What are some examples of the valuable resources in Africa?
Coffee, gold, diamond, oil, cotton.
Good, excellent, very good, very good. Reynolds, you're back. Collins, could you give me another example of rivalry?
Sir, the one that I was thinking about was what Michael just said between Britain and France over the resources in Africa and like the various colonies. Oh,
So
sir, Savannah is gonna rejoin because the audio is breaking up.
Okay. McCoy, you want to help them again?
The war between France and Germany for Alaska, Lorraine, if that's how you say it.
Alas, Lorraine, very good, yes. The war between France and Germany over Alas, Lorraine, excellent. Scramble for Africa. Eccleston, any other example?
Sir, the one, I think Germany and France. Wait, that's Alas Lorraine.
Yes, we had Alas, Lorraine.
Yeah, that's Alas Lorraine.
Germany and Britain, where Germany and Britain had their conflict?
South Africa.
Very good, Marshall, South Africa. Yes, very good. So one thing that we know, remember World War I would have started in 1914. 1914, World War I started. And before 1914, all right, ladies, we had quite a lot of things building up. A lot of things building up, and one of that was rivalry over trade and market. And we have examples of these rivalry, war, disagreement, the contention that was going on before 1914, before they killed the Archduke Ferdinand. All right? So this is before 1914. So causes, what were the things that led to? What were the reasons for the First World War? And one of such long-term, something that was going on way before. It was like it was brewing way before, and that would have been rivalry over trade. And that is your first point. Now, your second point, are you seeing my PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
Good, good. Now, our second point is militarism. And do we have examples of that European countries were militarized before 1914? Yes, we do. In fact, somebody read what A.J.P. Taylor states about militarism.
A.J.P. Taylor. A.J.P. Taylor, World War historian, saw Europe blundering into war as statesmen were led by over-optimistic leaders obsessed with military timetables.
Yes. So, in fact, what Taylor is arguing is that another reason or another long-term cause of the First World War was because politicians, another name for politician is statesmen, they were over-optimistic with military timetables.
Sir, like when the guy Kaiser I remember, I think it's Williams or something like that.
Yes.
In England wanted to make a army or military power that was bigger than France and
Very
Germany.
good. Excellent. That is an excellent point. So what do we mean by the word, some of these terms, right? Conscription, entree, this phrase, sphere of influence. When somebody said conscription, what are we talking about?
When males are forced to go to the military.
Go ahead, Tommy McCoy.
That's when males are called to go to the military.
Called to, yes. Called to, or anyone else?
Yes, when the males are being drafted out to war and they don't have a choice.
No choice. Perfecto. So conscription. That word giving me a little problem. Look at this now, ladies. These are some examples of ads that were placed in the newspaper. Collins, read this one for me, please.
Britons, you join your country's army. God save the king.
This is something East England in the newspaper. Now, the conscription is a call up or the drafting of men for compulsory military service. You really don't have a choice, as they said, Colin. Everybody, every single country, Britain, France, Russia, Germany, Austria-Hungary, calling all the males for compulsory military service. You must go into the military. And so Britain had this beautiful ad in their newspaper that Britons wants you. Join your country's army. God save the king. God save the king is the first line of the what? Of Britain's what?
Anthem.
Anthem. Yes. So every time, when there's a king, they sing, God saves our gracious king. Long live our noble king. God saves our king. And when there's a queen who is the head of England, they sing, God saves our gracious queen. Long live our noble queen. God saves our queen.
Sir,
So
you're a UK citizen.
So their entire country and their nationalism is linked to the monarchy. Britain love their monarchy, they love the king and they love the queen. They love royal weddings and all of these different stuff. So when the British say, you need to join your army, you need to help your country, this is saying that it's not only if I refuse to help my country, that means that you're a traitor. You're not for the cause of Britain. And it's not only Britain alone had this. France had the same thing too. Look at a colony. This is an example of a colony, Australia. Listen to what Australia said. Here. Louis, read it for me, please.
Australia has promised Britain 50,000 more men. Will you help us to keep that promise?
Look at that. So even in Australia, even in Jamaica, I was trying to find one for Jamaica in the newspaper. Everywhere they have these ads calling out the males. You need to help Britain. No, ladies, this was before 1914. It's not when the war happened that they put out these ads or pamphlets or calling for people to join. This was way before 1914 when the war started. What does that tell us about these society? What were they doing? What, Marshall? What were
It shows
they
that
doing?
they were prepping for a war before they even knew there was a war.
Very good. They were preparing for war long before the war happened. It's as if somebody gave them some form of prophecy to say you need to prepare for battle. But not only that, Marshall, They would have had several different conflicts over the period of time over trade, and some little wars would have gone now and again, and therefore it would seem that something big was on the horizon. And so they started to prepare for battle. So that was the militarization of Europe and the world, the calling mails, conscription, the mobilization. So what they are doing is that before, ladies, before the war started in 1914, they had conscription where they are calling, drafting men. They had ads in the newspaper, please write them down. Militarism as a cause for a long-term cause. Militarism as a long-term cause. So the first thing we have is the conscription, the ads in the newspaper. The next thing is that they are increasing their armies. So we see Britain increasing their army, not Britain alone, every single country increasing their army, Germany increasing their army, Britain increasing their army, France increasing their army, Russia increasing their army, Italy increasing their army, Japan increasing their army. Countries all over the world increasing the size of their army. So we have the army being increased. Then also we have the development of weapons. The government put a lot of money into developing weapons and technologies, different technological instruments to fight war. Are we getting the supporting details, ladies, to defend our point on militarism?
Yes, sir.
We are proving, what we are proving to the examiner is that before 1914, Britain was, and the world, why am I always make reference to Britain? Europe was being militarized. They were increasing their army. They had ads in the newspaper. We can give examples of the ads in the newspaper to support our points. They are developing technologies. They are developing weapons. They are developing their railways. Why do you think that they are developing their railways? Why do you think that they are developing their railways?
To be able to transport more troops.
To transport troops, and not only troops alone we want to transport, because if you have, but also, what you said, Marshall?
I also said weapons.
Weapons, but not only weapons. So when troops they buy themselves, troops is going to be there in war just like that. They're going to need what?
Food.
Food. So you're developing a transportation system. You're developing your naval base, your navy. Like Britain, for example, was well established when it comes to her navy. In fact, she had the largest navy in the world. Her navy had many ships because remember, Britain is an island. So they are going around Britain to protect the island. The navy and the navy is traveling with her ships to the Caribbean to protect the Caribbean islands. Their navy, very large navy Britain had. In fact, she had one of the, in fact, I believe Britain had the largest navy in the world at the time. So what we are seeing here, ladies, is that Britain and the other European countries were militarized. Not only that, some countries develop war plans. Yes. War plans. So for example, Germany developed a war plan. Anybody remember the name of the war plan that Germany developed?
The Schlipfront plan, some Schlipfront.
The Chieftain plan, right? And that plan show you that, listen, if we get attacked or a war should happen, this is how we're going to fight the war. Many countries, not only Germany alone, Britain had her plans too. When a war starts, guess what we're going to do? We're going to send our troops around to surround our islands. So they are developing war plan. Now, what we are seeing here, what conclusion can we draw from this, Shanae?
Sir, that the world was preparing for war even though there was not any war.
The world was preparing for war, yes. So preparation was there. I don't want you to use the word like even though there were any war, because they had little conflicts here and there before, conflict over trade. Like the Yugo-Japan war was one example. So they had little conflicts. But one thing that we know for sure was that they were preparing for battle, a large scale battle. And therefore, ladies, not only that, but even in the schools, they were inculcating in the students in schools to praise the military and to have military values. So the boys, all the boys in school, they must join the scout, the Boy Scout. And they must join the cadets. That's one of the reasons why Britain, we have cadets and scouts today and Girls Guide. You're training the girls to be nurses to help the males on the battlefield. Anybody here a part of Girls Guide? No.
Yes.
Nobody? All right.
When I was probably in prep school, not anymore.
So I was part of the cadet.
But you were part of the cadet. Training for war. No, all of this started then. Most of these clubs started then. Encouraging the people right across the world to be actively involved in military service. So we know for sure that there are examples of militarism. Now, linked to the military is nationalism. Linked to military, and you can do that as a point by itself. So the more army, the larger your army is, the more national pride you have. And you are joining the army to help your country because you love your country. You're patriotic. It is not like nationalism now, where in Jamaica, when somebody go and run at the Olympics, you jump up and you not pot cover and you wear your Jamaican color and say, oh, I'm Jamaican because we have the fastest man and the fastest woman in the world. And look what Shelley and Fraser and Elaine Thompson and Sharika Jackson, 3 double trees and all of these different stuff. And we have 3 and all of these different stuff. Gold, silver medal. That is what our nationalism is built on now. Around sports. But back then, their nationalism was largely linked to their military. Why do you believe that? And even today, why do you believe that countries like the United States is so powerful? Because of their military. So their military is linked to their nationalism. Nationalism, that deep love for your country. And so nationalism as another long-term cause, nationalism as another long-term cause, was evidence in how the British and other European countries increased their army. In also, ladies, Britain used to talk about the white man's burden, that it was the white man who is to go around to civilize the world. And so Britain felt that they were on top of things. They were the best thing ever to humanity, because God has given them that burden to civilize everyone. And so when you hear about Britain, he said, but we have colonized several countries. They don't see colonization as being wrong. They don't see colonization and slavery as being something terrible. For them, they are powerful because God has given them that power, that burden, the white man's burden to colonize all the world. And so their national pride, their love for country, they believed that they were better than everybody else, was because of their white man's burden. And anybody who is going to come to stop them from carrying out their God-given responsibility to civilize Africa and the Americas was against Britain, would be an enemy of Britain. Germany also had a concept of the Aryan race, the superiority of the Aryan race against everybody else, Africans and the Jews and the Chinese and the Indians. They were the superior. So their nationalism was also linked to this Aryan race, this pride. And there were many Eastern European countries who were colonized. Can you imagine European country colonizing other European countries? And those Eastern European countries in the area that is called the Balkan region, and I'm going to show you that region soon. The Balkan region, they were advocating for their independence. They said it's time for us to be independent from Austria-Hungary. It's time for us to have our freedom to govern ourselves. So ladies, we would have established that one, there were imperial rivalry as a long-term cause. Two, we would have established that European countries were being militarized. So there was militarism as a long-term cause. Three, nationalism. And we have examples of that nationalism. One, nationalism, that deep love for country through the military, through the demand for independence in the Balkan area, Britain's white man's burden, and Germany's concept of the Aryan race, this great love for country and that your country is better than everybody else's country. That's the view they had. Just like how we have that very same view in Jamaica. Some Jamaicans feel that Jamaica is the best place and they are the best Caribbean country. When I went to Cuba with Eccleston, Eccleston felt that Cuban food was not good food, and she refused to eat the Cuban food because Jamaican food was the best. And not only Jamaican food, but American food. Correct, Eccleston?
Sir, it was not that. Well, yeah, okay, you can say that. Yes.
Yes, that national pride. You could not wait to get home to get your jerk chicken, correct?
Yes, sir, I couldn't wait.
Very good. McCoy, you agree with me?
Yeah, kinda.
Yes, that national pride. So once we reached Dominican Republic and we saw Burger King, is Burger King? That's the first thing that you guys went to. Eccleston was the first to run Burger King.
It wasn't even the Burger King, it was a Domino's.
It's Domino's, yes, Domino's. Sorry. So yes, once you say Domino's, you feel some attachment to Domino's. Once you reach, you leave Cuba now, you're in Dominican Republic, you see food that you are associated, because Cuban food is not good food according to most of you. But their national, so there's this love for country and feel like we are better than everybody else. And that also led to the First World War. Now, another reason for the First World War was that countries started to form alliances and they started to sign treaties. So if we are going to come together, so if somebody offends us, another country offends us, then we are going to defend ourselves. Alliances. Somebody read this for me.
The alliance system, which involved the great powers of Europe, is often seen as a major cause of the First World War. This was because of the buildup of tension between the great powers. The great powers of Europe were now divided into two opposing alliances, but the treaties were defensive. Countries agreed to help one another if they were attacked. McCabe and David Ferribley.
All right. So they started, thank you very much, Eccleston. They started out treaty system, they started to join alliances so they could defend themselves if anybody should attack them, right? And let us look at some of the alliance system that came about. I'm going to the Google Classroom and I'm going to the textbook where we're going to look at some of the alliance system. And ladies, they were joining alliances way before 1914. Way before 1914 alliance system where countries are teaming up on other countries. So let us look at some of the alliance system. 1 second. And if you are going to talk about alliances, ladies, you need to give examples of it. So you need to argue, you need to tell the historian or your examiner that from as early as 1879, there was a system of alliance that was developed in Europe. All right? Marshall, you can help me out with the alliance systems, please? The first alliance that we're looking at.
1879, the Dual Alliance. Germany and Austria-Hungary made an alliance to protect themselves from Russia.
Very good. So that was a first alliance. So we realized that Germany teamed up with Austria-Hungary, another empire, to fight or to protect themselves against Russia. And so when I look at the Balkan area, you're going to see the reason why Germany and Austria-Hungary is against Russia.
Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead for me.
Sorry, can you zoom in a little bit more on the thingy? I can't read it. I don't know if it's my...
All right, 1 second. You're seeing it now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So ladies, so this is the first alliance system that came about. You see the shaking hand, they signing an agreement, a treaty. This is way before the war started, you know. How many years before the war started? Somebody do the calculation, 1914 minus 1879. How many years before the war started, you had the dual alliance?
35.
35.
Very good. 35 years before the First World War, Germany and Austria-Hungary join agreement that if, because what the Germany and Austria-Hungary is saying is that Germany, this is Germany to Austria-Hungary now. Germany, this is, well, I should say Austria-Hungary to Germany. Germany, if Russia should attack you, I am here to defend you. And Germany now to Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary, if Russia should come to attack you, I am here to defend you. So don't worry yourself. We are here for Russia. Germany, Austria-Hungary, first alliance, the dual alliance. Next one. Thank you very much, Marshall. McCoy, the next one.
A Franco-Russian alliance. Russia formed an alliance with France to protect itself against Germany and Austria-Hungary. France also sought an ally against Germany in 1894.
All right. So thank you very much. So this is 1894. So Russia formed an alliance with France. Let us see if I can get a map here. All right, I'll go back to that. So let us go back to my PowerPoint. So look at this now, ladies. So the Dural Alliance, Germany and Austria-Hungary, both of these territories, I'm coming, Shanae, Germany and Austria-Hungary signed an agreement that they would protect themselves against Russia. What was the problem with Russia? Now, this area right here, ladies, is called the Balkan territory, right? And Russia was in support of all of these territories here to be freed from Austria-Hungary, because Austria-Hungary had a lot of control over all of these territories here in the Balkan area. But Russia supported these territories being independent territories, and Austria-Hungary did not want them to be independent territories. So are we seeing the conflict between Russia and Austria-Hungary?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then now, after that, now another big conflict happened between France and Germany over where? What France and Germany fought for this piece of land, which is right here, Alsace-Lorraine. So if Germany and Austria-Hungary have agreement against Russia, then clearly, if Germany beat up France, France is going to need company, and France realized that, listen, they would have joined an agreement against Russia. So, all right, so both of you team up against Russia, I need help. So France and Russia, they joined and had an alliance. Go ahead for me, Shanae.
Sir, I was asked, why did Russia side with France, and Russia is so big? But you answered the question a while ago.
All right, good. All right, good. All right, so we see not only that, but Italy, right? Oh, this is the one. Italy also was part of this agreement, 1904. Let us look at what agreement started in 1904. Collins, read it for me, please. 1904.
The Entente Cordiale. This was an agreement between Britain and France recognizing each other's colonial possessions.
Very good. So there was an agreement between Britain and France because Britain and France had a big fight over North Africa. Yes, a big fight over North Africa around somewhere along this area. Let us see if I can find a better map. So Britain and France had a Big war over North Africa. Yes, Britain and France had war over North Africa. And France realized that, listen, we have war, we have problem with Germany. Germany and Austria-Hungary is friends. So guess what? We really can't have much enemy. So let us have an agreement with Britain to say, let us recognize each other colonial territory. In France, in Africa, in the Caribbean, we're not going to steal from each other. All right? So they are having their alliance. 1907, the Anglo-Russian intrigue. Go ahead, Fami Collins.
1907, the Anglo-Russian Entente. This was an agreement between Britain and Russia about spheres of influence in Asia.
All right, so we see that there is agreement between Britain and Russia joining. All right. What about 1907? What is taking place here?
The Triple Entente, the Entente Cordiale, and the Anglo-Russian Entente made it seem that there was friendship between France, Britain, and Russia, the so-called Triple Entente.
So what we see is that the Triple Entente started with France, Britain, and Russia saying that they are friends and they will support each other. And in 1914, they signed another agreement to say, we will only sign one agreement with our enemy. We're not going to have a separate. So Britain, you can't go and sign a peace treaty with Austria-Hungary by yourself. Russia, you cannot go and sign a peace treaty with, we call it now, with Russia, you can't sign a peace treaty with, say, Germany by yourself. Or France, you can't go and sign it with Italy by yourself. All three of us are friends. We are in this together, and anything that we are doing, we must do it together. And so that is how they formed their alliance. But ladies, if we look at the Triple Alliance that was formed, in 1882, the Triple Alliance was formed: Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. They would have started their alliance way before, in 1882. All right? So at the beginning of 1914, we had two strong alliances. We have the Triple Alliance with Italy, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Triple Entente between Britain, Russia, and France. So people are joining alliances because they don't trust other countries, they're fearful, they need protection. So we had two clear sides by 1914. Eccleston, you're able to develop the point on alliances as a long-term cause?
I believe so, sir.
All right. McCoy?
Yes, sir.
Marshall?
Yes, sir.
So ladies, so what we have looked at when it comes to the long-term causes, imperial rivalry, I have given you the supporting details for that point. Militarism, I've given you the supporting details. Nationalism as a cause, supporting details. And alliance system, supporting details. Long-term causes. Long-term. Long-term. And then when you're arguing, you could say that another reason for the First World War was the system of alliances that was fueled by hostility and mistrust between nations. Therefore, from as early as 1879, the Dual Alliance was formed. The Dual Alliance was formed between Germany and Austria-Hungary to protect themselves from Russia. This was the first alliance. Then again, another significant alliance that was formed prior to the First World War was the Triple Alliance in 1882. This was almost 20 plus years before the First World War, where Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy decide that they would fight together against Russia. They were threatened by Russia. In addition, in 1894, the Franco-Russian alliance was formed, and then you continue. And then another significant alliance that was formed was in 1907 between France, Britain, and Russia. The system of alliance clearly showed that countries in Europe had a lot of mistrust and fear of each other. And this hostility led to the First World War. How that sound? You can fix it up way better than me, ladies. We can work with that for
Sir,
now.
can you repeat that, please?
I can't repeat something that is in my head. I was talking out of my head.
Okay.
I can't repeat it. When you get the recording, you go back and listen and write it. But I'm not expecting you to write it just the same. But you need to fix it up and make it so nice and scholarly. And you give a historian to support it. Agree, Louis?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you have to fix it up for the examiner. You can use this historian according to David Ferriby et al. Fix it up and make it look good and let the point look good. When they see your paper, they know that you know. So ladies, we would have successfully developed the long-term causes. Now, the reason why I go through it, if we look through our textbooks, you're going to see that the textbook has long-term causes, short-term causes, and thematic causes. Thematic causes, meaning political causes, economic causes, social causes. Those are the thematic. When you go into your exam, they could ask you the question from several different angles, right? Several different ways. Several different angles, ladies. So they could ask you to look at it from a long-term, short-term, or thematic. Say, for instance, you go into the exam and they say, alliance system was a cause for the First World War. How would you go about answering that question? That's the essay question. Discuss 30 marks. A land system, that is the little quote they give at top. A land system was the only cause for the First World War. How would we go about that? Eccleston.
Sir, with the question being a line system was the only cause of the World War,
Yes.
I would.
Sorry, before you go, Dajala, couldn't we take a different perspective, sir, and disagree with the statement?
Yes.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to disagree and say
Yeah.
a line system was not the only. Yes, it was one of the factors, but not the only cause of the war. And I'll talk about other long-term causes.
Very good. Never agree with the statement. The statement is just there to whet your appetite. Because if you should say, yes, alliance system was a major cause of the First World War, you write about alliance system, what else you're going to put in the essay for 30 marks? You have to say, the First World War was because of several different reasons. And you develop one paragraph on the alliance system, then the next one on what? McCoy, we will develop another point on?
Rivalries over trade.
Rivalry for trade. Then Collins will develop a next point on? Eccleston will develop a next point on?
Militarism.
Yes, militarism. And then also Lewis will develop the last point on?
Sir, nationalism.
Nationalism, perfecto. So we feel like we're getting somewhere. We feel like we're on track for the grade 1. Correct, Marshall?
Yes, sir.
Good. But sometimes CXC and these exams have a nice way of causing problems. But before I go to that, ladies, let us look at how the world would have set up. The two alliances at the end of the beginning of 1914. Germany, Austria, Hungary, Italy, Britain, France, Russia. So that was it. I have one more point before we move on. So we are through now with the long-term causes. My next point is that we're going to look at the short-term causes. Stop sharing. Close. Then this is from this morning. Short term. So ladies, in your notebooks, you put short-term causes. And the first short-term cause that we're going to look at is unrest in the Balkan area. Unrest in the Balkan area, or unrest in the Balkan region. Gabriel Davis, you're with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Sorry, I never know that. I never see a name at all. My apology for ignoring you, all right?
Yes, sir. I wasn't here earlier, but I'll tell you in an email later.
All right, good, good. So we're going to look at the two short-term causes that actually led to the war starting. These were the immediate things that happened. The immediate that happened. So we have two things that is going to cause the war to start. The unrest in the Balkan area is going to cause the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. All right, let us look at before we go to the Balkan area. The Balkan area was originally, is part of Europe, and the Balkan area had conflict, quite a lot of conflict within this area. In fact, it was originally part of the Ottoman Empire. I don't think you need to know all of these about the Ottoman Empire, but note that it was part of the Ottoman Empire, all of this area, right? A very big empire back in the days, just like how you had the British Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Balkan area was part of it. Now, remember that Austria-Hungary is two states, right? Two different states. Now, let us look at the Balkan area. For the Balkan area, all of this peninsula right here, where you have Albania, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, all of this area right here, ladies, would be part of the Balkan area, all of here, the Balkan territory. Now, there's a lot of conflict in this region, and I'm going to show you a clearer map. Let us see if the textbook has a better one. All right. I prefer to use the other map. It explains it a little better. So this is the kingdom Austria-Hungary. Remember, Austria-Hungary is two kingdoms that combine together, and they govern quite a lot of people. Now, Austria-Hungary, there were two places in Austria-Hungary that had problem with Austria-Hungary by itself, right? So it was part of it. Now, Austria-Hungary was made up of several different kingdoms or several different states. I don't want to use the word parish. I don't want to use the word parish, But think of these as very small independent states. Let me give you a perfect example. You see, just like how Portmore is separated, is in St. Catherine, is in the parish of St. Catherine, but Portmore has its own local government. And right now, the government want to make Portmore a parish by itself, and it is creating problems. Think of it that way. Austria-Hungary was made up of several different Portmores, right? But two territories there, Bosnia and Herzegovina, these two territories here, which is part of Austria-Hungary, were settled mostly by people from Serbia. So most of the people that lived in this part, Bosnia and Herzegovina, were the Serbians. They lived in this part of the region. Are you following, ladies?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So they lived in this part of the region. Most of the people that lived here. But guess what? In Europe, they had a lot of tribes. So Germany, France, Britain, Austria-Hungary, they were all Germanic people. They were, so don't worry about the name Germany here. All of them were from the Germanic tribe. Russia, Romania, Bulgaria, Serbia, Bosnia, Herzegovina were all from the tribe of the Serbs. So there's a lot of ethnic tension that was going on this side of the world. So Austria-Hungary and Russia Austria-Hungary and Russia, okay, if we look at them clearer map, Russia is here, Austria-Hungary, they made an agreement to say, Russia said, listen, the people that live in this part of here should really be under the control of Serbia. It's my people. We have the same ethnicity. Different country, but same ethnicity. You guys are Germanic. You talk different language. So, but Russia said, even though they should get their independence, these territories should be part of Serbia. Guess what? Let us have an agreement that Austria-Hungary is going to take over Bosnia and Herzegovina. You're going to take over this part, and you're going to incorporate it as part of your kingdom. You're going to incorporate it as part of your kingdom. Forget about Serbia. We don't business about them. That is what Russia said at first. And Russia said, we have some ships in the Black Sea, which is right here, and we need permission to get into the Mediterranean Sea. So listen to what I'm saying now, Austria-Hungary. This is Russia and Austria-Hungary talking. Forget about Serbia and their concern that Bosnia and Herzegovina should be part of their country. You take that as your part of your country. Put it as part of your empire. But allow us, Russia, to traverse from the Black Sea into the Mediterranean Sea. Give us that permission. Austria-Hungary annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina as part of their empire. That's what they did. They annexed it. Serbia was upset. But guess what? Austria-Hungary did not allow Russia to move or able to ships to commute from the Black Sea into the Mediterranean Sea. Russia now got very upset with Austria-Hungary and wanted to go to war with Austria-Hungary because they did not live up to the deal. But Germany came in and Germany said, Austria-Hungary, don't worry about the Russians. We do what we want to do in the Balkan area. These territories are already independent. We give them their independence. But you see this part here, Bosnia and Herzegovina, these territories, we cannot allow Serbia to have control over it because this part of land, this sea right here is very important for us. And so we need to control this area so we can have control over the Mediterranean Sea. Serbia was upset. Serbia really wanted Bosnia and Herzegovina as part of her territory, even though most of the people that live here are people who are Serbians. Because if we look at the map here, Serbia was long landlocked and they wanted access to the sea too, right? And so they had a lot of conflict. And so now Germany came in and said, Austria-Hungary, forget about Russia. They are foolish people. We played them. Bosnia and Herzegovina was annexed to Austria-Hungary. Russia could not get access from the Black Sea into the Mediterranean Sea. And so as a result of that, people in Bosnia and Herzegovina, they are going to call for their independence. So Serbia is going to say, listen, we don't want them to be part of us again, but give them their independence. And Austria-Hungary is going to say, no, we are not going to give them their independence. Conflict going on. Now, there's something that we need to know about this area, the Balkan area, is that the Balkan area had several different nationalities, as we can see. We have Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, right? Several nationalities. And they were unstable politically. Every minute somebody overthrew a government. There were various ethnic groups, several different religions in the area. So there's a lot of problems within that area, right? Now, let us look at what is going to take place in this part of the world. Now, there's going to be a crisis in 1908 that we call the Bosnian crisis. What was the crisis? So as we said, Austria-Hungary occupied these two Balkan provinces. since 1870. And in 1908, they would have made the agreement, and that agreement did not came to pass. And so in October 1908, Austria went ahead and they annexed the area, and that created a problem that is called the Bosnia crisis within the Balkan area. Now, what is going to take place with the Serbs? What is going to take place with the Serbs? One second. The next thing now is that Serbia, who was an independent territory, they are going to say, listen, it is time for us, all of us within this area, to stand up for ourselves. Don't allow Austria-Hungary to bully us in the Balkan area. Don't allow it. So they are going to form a group that is called the Balkan League. So the Balkan League in 1912 to 1913. And they're going to say that they're going to ensure to protect themselves against places like Italy, Austria-Hungary. It's time for us within that small area in Eastern Europe to defend and to protect ourselves. And so Austria-Hungary now and other places like Germany is going to be very concerned that the Balkan League was growing and it was becoming very powerful. Very powerful. And so what is going to happen, ladies, is that the Archduke, who was the head at the time, or not the head, but one of the era of the Austrian Empire, they went to Sarajevo, which is in Bosnia, on a visit. And they went in that area, and the Archduke Ferdinand, who was head or part of the royal family for Austria-Hungary, went to this part, ladies. Austria-Hungary, the Archduke went to Bosnia to visit, and he would have been killed there. Who do you believe that Austria-Hungary is going to blame for the death of one of their royals?
Serbia, sir.
They are going to blame Serbia because they are saying that it was Serbia who killed the Archduke and his wife, because they would have started this area right here. They would have started a league to defend themselves. And Austria-Hungary is going to have a problem too, because Austria-Hungary is going to say it's not only Serbia we should blame, but who else you think that they are going to blame for it? Which other territory? Who was supporting the Serbs at this time in this area, the Balkan League? Which European country was supporting them?
Russia.
Russia was supporting them. So right now, people start to blame Serbia, Germany, and Austria-Hungary. Remember, they are friends, and Italy. They are now going to blame Serbia, and they are also going to blame Russia. because the king, not the king, the Archduke, who was supposed to be ruler of the empire, visited this area, Bosnia, and he was killed there. And remember, originally Serbia had interest in this area. Because most of the people that live here are really Serbians. All right, ladies?
Yes.
So when we return on Friday, which is the work you have to do now, once the Archduke was killed for Austria-Hungary, Austria is going to issue an ultimatum on Serbia. Austria is going to declare war on Serbia. Russia is going to say, they declare war on Serbia. We need to get our troops together. So Russia immediately start to mobilize our troops. And as Russia started to mobilize our troops, Germany said to Russia, no. You're too enough. We are coming to you. But how is it that you hear that Austria-Hungary declare war on Serbia and you now say that you're mobilizing troops? Is that you're going to help Serbia? So Russia said, not Russia, Germany said to Russia, demobilize your troops. And Russia is going to say, no, we are not going to mobilize our troops. Demobilize our troops. And then France is going to say, you have to observe what is going on, because Austria-Hungary declare war on Serbia because they killed one of the royals. Russia start to mobilize. Germany tell Russia to demobilize the troops. Russia said no. France started to mobilize their troops. And then Germany is going to declare war on Russia. And then Germany is also going to declare war on France. And Britain and France is going to declare war on Austria-Hungary. So ladies, one big excitement going on in Europe in 1914. The trigger. I want you to know the Balkan area. What was going on in the Balkan area that led to the First World War? The trigger. Know the relation between Serbia, Russia, Herzegovina, and Bosnia. What was the conflict? What was the agreement between Austria-Hungary and Russia before? What was going on in this region that triggered the war, that led to the death of Austria-Hungary, one of the era of the Austrian-Hungary Empire? Why is it people going to declare war? And so for your activity for tomorrow, group 1 is going to present on Friday. Why did Austria-Hungary declare war on Serbia? Then group 2, why did Russia mobilize its forces? Group 3, why did Germany support Austria? And group 4, why did France mobilize its forces? And group 5, why did Britain declare war on Germany? Yes, that is what we're going to do on Friday. All right, ladies, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you understanding the conflicts of the First World War?
Yes, sir.
So far, sir, yeah.
Very good. So ladies, meet in your groups, WhatsApp, call, work on your presentation, and you will present those information on Friday. So we must finish the courses soon. Enjoy the rest of the day. See you on Friday.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye-bye.